Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to a new episode of Polemic Nation. It's that time of the year where many of us have forgotten our New Year's resolution. Many of us promised ourselves to work out efficiently this year. So this is today's topic, and today we have a very special guest who is into fitness, but who is also a social media personality, and I'm super excited to have him with us today. Eric Guilmette, how are you today, Eric?
I'm doing great, Javier. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for your time and for being here, Eric. It's great speaking with you.
Of course, yeah. I'm glad we finally made this work. Timing is always a tough one to schedule, but we made it work last minute.
Absolutely. And Eric, I know that you are into fitness, but you are also a model, but you are also an actor, but you also do really cool TikToks. So I would really like to know, how did everything start for you? What was the main thing that interested you when you started working on this?
Do you want the long version or the short version?
The long version, of course, it's a
The
podcast.
long version, yeah. No one likes short versions. So the long version is, so I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, or just outside of Boston. I went to school in Rhode Island for mathematics and economics, and I actually went on to work in finance for a little bit, and I didn't like it. But during that time, I was doing fitness things. I was bodybuilding. I was fitness coaching on the side, and eventually, I built my fitness coaching business to the point that once I was making enough money from fitness coaching, I like left everything else that I actually went to school for. And then I started traveling the world, fell in love with just exploring different cultures. I lived in Australia, Southeast Asia, Europe, really kind of went a little bit of everywhere. And then I ended up down here in Southern California, where I live now in Long Beach. And then life really changed for me. I came out here with the plan to just keep personal training and fitness coaching, and then I had done part time modeling to that point, just fitness modeling, because when you have like a beautiful body, photographers want to photograph you, right? They're like, oh, I want to photo, and so that was like my experience with modeling, but hadn't done anything beyond that. But once I got here in Southern California, I started booking just like so many shoes. I started booking, fitness shoes. Then that led to paid shoes, and that led to fashion shoes. That led to agency work. That led to commercial shoes. That led to commercial acting. Have you thought of theatrical acting? Sure. And then I started doing acting, and then taking acting classes, and it's been about a 2.5 year journey since October 2019 to today. I guess the first day of March 2022, to get to where I am now, where I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I do 50 million things, but my passions really live in the modeling space, and the acting space. That's what I spend the majority of my time doing now. And I'm happy to be exactly where I am at this point in my life.
That's awesome. So do you enjoy the most modeling and acting more than fitness right
Yeah,
now?
I mean, like, it's funny because fitness is still part of my name, right? It's my Instagram is at ET Fitness Coach. Yeah, I still have etfitnesscoach.com. I will always be a fitness coach. So I still have clients that I've been working with. Some of them I've been working with for 4+ years, and that's something that I always love. I love helping people with, especially something that I'm knowledgeable in. I still live by it every day. I still have to work out every day, take care of myself, all of that, eat healthy. So it's not like a whole lot for me to mentally to like keep helping people with that, and I enjoy it. But my true passion is really in the modeling space, the acting space. That's where I get to be an artist. I get to do things that my actual true self really comes out in, and being a creative. So I'm so blessed that I found this path in my life, and I found it. I don't want to say early. I'm 28 now. But I found it a lot earlier than most people do, because a lot of people go their entire life without ever finding what they love. But I found it.
Absolutely. And I don't think there's a race for that, for finding your mission in life. Yes, some people take longer, but maybe some people find their true love earlier, right? So I think that we are working on different areas of our life at different levels. So um, it's great that you found yourself in the place where you want to be at a very young age.
Yeah, yeah, and it comes. Life comes in steps. It comes in chapters, and one chapter will lead to the next. I mean, like, I really had a fluid path of going from bodybuilding to fitness modeling to fashion modeling to acting and being where I am now, right? And it's like everything kind of led to each to another, and I didn't force it. I think a lot of people, especially in Los Angeles, they move out here and they're like, I'm only going to be an actor. I'm going to be an actor and I'm going to make it as an actor. And that kind of can sometimes close you off from these other opportunities that are around you. But if you do what feels right and you let things happen naturally, and you put in the work, that's the main thing. Then you can really do so much in this life, and that's where I'm at now.
That's awesome. That's great. Now, Eric, there's a question that I always wanted to ask to a male model, and I'm so glad that you are here with us. I think there's like this assumption from mass media and from many like stereotypes that there's like this rivalry and this competition between female models, right? Like, oh, I hate you. Oh, I'm prettier than you. Oh, I'm skinnier than you. Well, I'll see many female models that get along really well, that are best friends, and that doesn't really happen. That is more of the media trying to create this rivalry. How does that work between male models? Do you feel intimidated by someone? Is there rivalry? I know that it's not like a 100% answer, but how have you experienced that behind the scenes?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's always competition in the industry. I mean, it's funny because there's, I don't know, what, 19 million people that live down here in Southern California, and you run into the same people at castings, or you'll be put up for the same job that's against other male models or whatever, and it does become competitive to that aspect. But at the same time, with the way that things are now digitally, a lot of the times you don't even know that you're competing against someone directly for the same job. But like for me, I have so many male models that are friends in the industry that, we're just trying to help each other and help each other grow. Like just off the top of my head, I'm not sure if you know who the Bowling twins are, Calvin and Corey Bowling, but they're both male models with a fitness modeling background. We've done some really cool retreats and things like that together. And I was helping them the other day trying to, with their modeling portfolio and stuff like that, so uh, there's all these nuances where, it might look like that to like, because again, social media, I'm posting pictures of me, I'm not posting pictures of me with all the other male models, like, having a great time or whatever. I'll post it on my story sometimes, you know what I mean? But it's not very, I don't know if the public perception is that it's very like me, because it's a lot of like us, because I just want everyone to do the best they can with it. And I have so many great friends in this industry. So yeah, long-winded way of saying it's not as competitive as it might seem, even though it is a very competitive field, but it's not like cutthroat competitive.
And I can imagine that there are so many things in common that maybe you only have those conversations with your other peers or coworkers or friend models, right? Maybe like the feeling of getting rejected in a casting, or like getting nervous before a shoot, like those emotions and those conversations. Like you have those people that you identify with, and that's how these conversations go, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and we're able to help each other. Like, some people that are better at content creation, for example, like TikTokers that, they understand that field a little bit better, versus people like I'm really good. I know my strengths. Like I'm really good at editorial modeling, fashion modeling, just kind of like letting my body flow and like not being rigid when I'm posing. And so that's one thing I'm really good at that I'm able to help other models with. So yeah, I mean, we're all trying to help each other. I would say that for the most part, it's not as cutthroat as it might seem, even though, the bigger and bigger you get, it can seem very, very intense and competitive.
Absolutely. Now, talking about fitness, what do you think is the biggest misconception of fitness? Like when clients go to you and approach you, what do you think is the biggest misconception once you start working on that?
Immediate results, that's a big thing. Fitness is something you're always working on, and everyone, unfortunately, these days wants instant gratification. And that's not that's not realistic. I mean, like I'm always working on my fitness. Even still, I have things that I learn about myself. I've been doing this, taking care of my body like this for almost 10 years now, so it's like I have a really good grasp on it. And a client will come to me and be like, hey, like, I want to lose, 20 pounds in 12 weeks. And I'm like, great, we can do that. But this is always something that you're going to be working on. You know what I mean? And they want that instant gratification just because that's how life is now. You buy something on Amazon, you get it at your door tomorrow, or that same day. So I would say that's a big misconception. And another one is that it's like a one size fits all approach. Oh, like my friend did the keto diet and she did really well with it. I want to do it, and then like they start doing it, and then they're not losing weight. And it's like, no, like the best diet, the best workout program is the one that you can adhere to, that you enjoy, that actually works for you. Because all of our bodies are different, all of our schedules are different, and that's just kind of the way the world works.
Yeah. So talking about how immediate results, when a client asks you, how long will it take for me to look like this? Do you give them like a specific answer, or what do you tell them?
I'm very straightforward. I'm like, look, you're probably not going to look like this because that person has been doing this for a long time, or that person isn't you. That person doesn't have the anatomical structure, that you have. And if a client comes to me with very little knowledge or very little fitness background, it's going to take a long time to even get close to that. But as long as we're improving, as long as you're feeling good, looking good, enjoying what you're doing, those are the three things. Obviously, like if you look good, sometimes you don't feel good. But if we can make sure that you look good and feel good, and you're just enjoying the actual process of your fitness, those three things are the most important, in my opinion, to kind of hit on all three. Because if you're too heavy on one of those, like if you're too focused on looking good but you feel like shit, that ain't gonna work.
Look good, feel good, and enjoy.
And enjoy it, yeah. And like if you're not happy in the process that you're going with, then like screw that. What are you doing it for? Like if you, it's life. Life's short. You got to be able to enjoy your journey.
Yeah. And maybe you start enjoying it when you're new to the process, but sometimes repetition gets exhausting, right? So how do you keep yourself motivated, or how do you keep your clients motivated in this process?
So I'll answer that two ways. For me, keeping myself motivated is pretty easy because it's my job, right? I need to look a certain way for modeling and acting. So taking care of myself isn't it's routine. It's habitual, like just like you brush your teeth every morning and you go to sleep at a certain time every night. Like it's the same thing. Like, oh, I need to work out, today I need to eat healthy. I don't have to think about it at this point. For my clients though, that's the harder thing, is navigating and finding that balance, because balance is really what we're going for. Because clients that are like so like I have some clients that will be like, oh, I want to like I'm gonna go so hard for 30 days, and like I'm not gonna like eat any bad things, I'm gonna make every workout. And then what happens at the end of the 30 days is it's like, all right, well, what do I do now? Like I went so hard, how do I find balance after that, and like maintenance? And that's a really hard thing. But if you're able to kind of make it so that this is a doable lifestyle for you, more so than a diet or a workout plan, that's why I don't like diets. Like the keto diet, for example, anyone that comes to me is like, oh, I'm going to do keto. I'm like, that's great. What are you going to do after keto? And they're like, I don't know. And it's like, think about the long-term strategy here. If you're building just a diet, a flexible diet that you can do every day, and you enjoy it, you enjoy what you're eating, you feel good, you look good, and you're enjoying the process, like I just said, then you're good to go. So that's a really hard thing to navigate, because everyone's different. Everyone has different ways that they think, and everyone, unfortunately, these days wants immediate results, which isn't going to happen.
And there are different aspects of the process that you have to enjoy, because it's the part of working out, but it's also the part of food, which is where many people quit, right? Like they assume that salads are the only healthy thing, or the only thing that they should eat. And of course it gets exhausting. Like after 3 days, who wants to eat another salad, right?
Yeah, no, you got to enjoy it. I mean, like, that's why I don't even think of the word cheat meals. Cheat meals it sounds wrong. Like it feels wrong that you're like eating it. But if you have a balanced diet and like, oh, tonight I'm gonna go to, Outback Steakhouse, and I'm gonna get a huge steak with potatoes. All you have to do is just adjust your meals before that. Like, okay, if I know I'm gonna eat a ton of fat and carbs tonight, my other meals should probably be low carb, lower fat, and then balance. And again, it's as simple as that. I know that it sounds simple when I say it like that, but it's really hard to go through that and try and navigate it, because, like you said, food is so important. It extends beyond culture. Like it's not like every culture looks at food differently, and so like it's just it's a very difficult topic to kind of work through. But I do the best I can and try and get people to just enjoy their process.
And I think it's so important that we try to avoid getting in this repetition, right? When we work out, I don't know, because you're the coach, not me. How much can you diversify the routine? I hear someone that says that she likes to keep motivated. So one year she gets into swimming lessons, and then the next year she's in pole dance, and then the next year she's playing football because her goal is just to work out and to be healthy. So this is something that she does to keep working out while not being bored while she's doing that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, like you should be doing different things. Like working out doesn't just have to be in a gym, on a cardio machine, under, like I played beach volleyball for 4 hours on, I think, Saturday. And that's a great form of exercise. I go rollerblading a lot. It's like those are things that like people just don't associate them with working out, or they like, they lose their creativity. Especially a lot of people as they get older, it's so like one tone, right? It's like I need to go to the gym. I need to do this. It's like no, go on a hike, ride a bike outside, like do all these different things. Go swimming. Like there's so many things you can do. So as long as you're happy doing what you're doing and you like the results that you're getting, that's fine. And that's why there is no one size fits all approach.
Another topic that I wanted to talk about is social media, because I know that you're an entrepreneur and that a lot of your work is focused on social media. So you're truly working on social media, and it's really hard to fall in the temptation of getting distracted, like maybe posting a picture and then getting lost on the gossip for 30 minutes. Or maybe I'm just projecting myself here. But how do you balance that part between work and distracting on social media, handling keeping up because you have to post regularly? How does that process work for you?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I'm so thankful for social media. I think a lot of people have a negative connotation with social media, right? Because it can be a toxic environment. You can start comparing yourself and your life to other people that you follow, and that is a negative, usually ends in a negative way, right? So I more so am on the positive side of it, where I'm just thankful because without social media, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I wouldn't be where I am in my career as an actor and model. I wouldn't have met some of the most amazing people that I'm around. And yeah, and as much as it can feel like work sometimes, uh, having the perspective that this is what I do for a job is quite amazing to fall back on. I'm so thankful that I have that, and that's part of my job. Of course, I'm a human, and anyone that's on there is a human. So we need to remember that anyone that your content that you're consuming from someone that you're following, those people are humans just like you, and they have feelings. They have a million things going on in their life. And I think that sometimes we kind of like forget about that there's a human element of social media. And, for example, like if I post a picture that I really like it and, it doesn't get a lot of traction or likes or whatever, like, yeah, like I used to get kind of caught up in like, oh, like that sucks. Like I really like love this photo. Why is no one else seeing it or whatever? Like the stupid algorithm. Like that used to be something that I would get hung up on. But the thing that I always remember is I'm like, I'm booked, I'm busy, I'm more so using social media as a tool to share my life with the people who care, more so than using it to just kind of like I don't even know what to call it, like look for gratification, like look for validation. Because I had that point in my life where I needed to kind of understand the difference between putting myself out there for me and putting myself out there for others. You know what I mean? So I was dealing with that at one point, but now I just put it out there because I genuinely want to put out what I'm putting out there. And but I'm a busy actor and model, and that's what I did it for. That's why I do it in general. So kind of understanding the why of why you're doing social media, I would say for anyone who's on social media is an important thing. No matter if you're a content creator or just a content consumer, think of really why you're on there in the first place. Because if you lose track of that, if you lose sight of that, it's very easy to get lost in the toxic environment of it all. So yeah, my why for social media is very important.
So are you no longer looking for validation on social media?
No, I just post because I just want to post. Of course I like, posting stuff that, is entertaining because I obviously like entertaining my followers and fans and stuff like that. But I more so fell in love with the actual artistry of posting, of creating stuff that feels like me, that feels like what I'm doing, and obviously again, there's crossover. So I'm an influencer as well, which I never really have liked that word, but I'm an influencer as well, right? So if a brand wants me to post something wearing their stuff, I now am very selective in what I share because I'm like, I don't want to post about stuff that I don't believe in. I don't want to post about stuff that isn't great, that I actually use. So I'm very selective now in what I put out there, but I also just do it because it feels good for me, not because it's for anyone else.
Why don't you like the word influencer?
Because you get put the reason why is because I consider myself a model, right? And
Mhm.
no offense to influencers, but a lot of influencers don't really understand like the whole modeling aspect of it, like actually modeling. I mean, and from a fashion background, like for you, Javier, you can kind of understand that. Like, just because you're an influencer doesn't mean you're a model, and just because you're a model doesn't mean you're an influencer. And there's like this like misconception and crossover. You know what I mean? In those two fields, and I consider myself more so a model because I'm good at modeling and I know that, versus just being someone of influence that's like, oh, buy this product, buy this, and like I don't like that. That's not genuine, that's not me.
Yeah, I get offended by influencers who see themselves as designers because I went to school for design. So they come up with their clothing line and then suddenly they know how to design. And of course, they don't. They're just the marketing aspect of the brand. But of course, there are true designers behind that. And I think that influencers like being different things, right? Not all of them, we're talking generally,
Yeah.
but many of them like to be writers. Many of them think they are photographers. So that's why it has a negative connotation, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's not to say you can't do 25 things. Trust me, I do 25 things and I'm always looking for number 26 to add on to my plate. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know, I never really I also don't like labeling a lot of things, and I just like kind of things being what they are and whatever that means to the person. So that's kind of where I sit on that topic of influencing versus modeling.
Yeah, because as you were saying, you can be multiple things. And I think that in many ways, an influencer is someone who influences your thoughts, influences the way you think. So at some point, we are all influencers because we influence people to do something, right?
Exactly. If I influenced you to smile today, then I'm an influencer, for lack of a better word, and that's yeah, it gets overdone and overdrawn sometimes, but yeah, we could beat this to a dead horse if we really wanted to.
What's your favorite social media platform, Eric?
uh I guess I would say Instagram. Yeah, I mean, because I really do love photography, and that's always been the holder of most valuable images and stuff is through Instagram. I like I've always liked YouTube too. I'll be honest, I probably consume more YouTube content than anything else. I actually don't consume a lot of content on like Instagram or TikTok. Like TikTok, I still don't really know how I feel about it. TikTok is it's cool because it's all personal content for the most part. It's not very it's not always professional content. It's something that'll make you laugh. But I do think that again, some anything in moderation is fine, but of course, unfortunately, because of the way the world is, a lot of things get overdone and kind of ruined along the way. And yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Pretty much, I'm just not a huge fan of TikTok yet.
Think I'm gonna try to say what I understood, that maybe TikTok grew as something like a very specific way of communicating ideas, and now it's overdone while people are not exploring all of the different things that you can do on TikTok.
Yeah, and it's just fake. Like a lot of people can be fake because it's just like, oh, what's the popular trend that everyone else is doing that I can also do? And I'm guilty of that same exact thing because that's how you grow on TikTok, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, that's not genuine. And that's kind of like the influencer side of it that I don't like either. Influencing sometimes isn't genuine because you're just getting paid to say it, right? So That's one thing I don't really know if I like about that stuff, because at least Instagram, like, posting pictures or whatever, those are all for the most part your general creative idea. And not to say that you're not creative on TikTok, but a lot of it is just hopping on trends, it's hopping on this, and it's just like, all right, how many times are we gonna do this? Well, what is this really teaching us, if anything?
Absolutely. Eric, for someone who wants to be a fashion model or a social media personality like you, I'm not gonna call you an influencer. What advice would you give to them? Because I know that rejection is hard, competition is hard. Many of these things are sometimes discouraging, especially negative comments, or just people not supporting you. What advice would you give to them?
Right. So what's great is I do like some lifestyle coaching as well on the side, where I'll coach models and stuff and how to navigate this industry, because it's a tough industry to go through. So my advice that I will start with is figure out why you're doing this. Like, for example, if someone comes to me and they're like, "Hey, I want to be a model." And I'm like, "Great, why do you want to do it?" And they're like, "Oh, I heard it's a great way to make money." I'm like, you're not going to last if that's your reason. If your reason is superficial to just make money, or or to get status or whatever, you're not going to have the love for it to be able to continue going, because it's a very cutthroat industry. You deal with rejection a lot. And you need to find really a concrete reason of why you actually want to do this. Like, I am a model because I love creating beautiful art and letting my body go to places that I never thought I could do. I've done everything from fashion to runway to lifestyle to beauty campaigns. I've modeled women's eyelashes. It's like I've done all of these different things, and I've learned who I am along the way. So that's part two of this, is figure out who you are, because a lot of people in life in general don't know who they are. But if you're trying to become a model, you need to be so secure of who you are. You need to know what makes your body tick, what expressions you're good at, like how your body moves. You need to really know exactly who you are. So that's part two, is understanding. So part one, why are you doing this? Like, why do you want to do this? Part two is, who are you at the core, that's going to come out in what you're doing, because otherwise you're not going to be able to go through the journey. And then I guess like a part three, I'm trying to find a way to kind of close it all up.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that goes along with both of those. Like part one and part two. Why are you doing this? Who are you? I guess part three, to kind of tie it all together, is, yeah, do you actually enjoy this? Like, because a lot of people, they might want to do it because of, like they want to make beautiful art, or then they learn who they are. But if they don't fucking enjoy it, then what's the point? Just because I'm good at something doesn't mean I should do it. Like, I grew up, I went to school for math because I was good at it, but I didn't enjoy it. And so it's like, that's why I'm not working in math anymore, or finance or whatever. So yeah, like you said, part three, enjoy it, I think, is the best way to put it. If you enjoy modeling, if you actually enjoy doing this, then great. But you need to be so secure of who you are to be able to really make it in this industry.
And many times you have to try it to know if you like it or not, right? Because you can have the assumption of how the world or the industry works from the outside, from seeing other people, but you have to live it and you have to experience it, and you have to see how you react to it, right? Because when we are 18 years old and we have to choose our major, it's like, oh my god, I don't know who I am, or I don't know if this is for me, or I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it. So sometimes you just have to go ahead and try it, and it's okay if it's not for you, right?
Absolutely. Give yourself the opportunity. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't get that opportunity to try things because they put themselves in a box. You go to school for this is what you work on. But to like you said, to do it, you got to try it. So that's really great advice. Yeah.
And that wouldn't make you a quitter. That just means that you are figuring out who you are.
No, absolutely. I mean, you have to be an open-minded person to experience things. If you're closed-minded, you're never going to live life without knowing what the heck's out there. That's why I don't want to get into, like, because again, that same methodology, that same thought process applies to a lot of things. But, like, for example, our political environment is just, it's two sides, right? It's the Republicans and Democrats. And it's such a closed-minded thing to be like, okay, I'm only this side, I think this way, or I'm only this side and I think that way. It's like you got to be an open-minded person to be able to actually think and to be able to like allow yourself to grow and all of that. So I don't want to get into politics, but it's the same thing. You have to be open-minded and you need to just go with what feels right. So yeah.
Yeah, and the last thing that I want to mention about this is to be open-minded about doing more than one thing, which is what you are doing: modeling, acting, fitness. And if you wanted to sing, you could sing as well, because why not? Because many people
No,
ask us
you
to
don't want me to
choose.
sing. I
uh,
need background vocals to sing, and I need like auto tune.
there's a software for that. So but the thing is that sometimes like people want us to choose just one field or just one career or just one occupation, and that's not really how the world is working right now. You can do many things as long as you're enjoying them, and the three things that you said earlier, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Eric, thank you so much for your time. Where can people find you? Where can people know more about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Javier, thank you so much for having me on here. People can find me now. So my Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook, I believe, are all the same. It's at ET Fitness Coach. So ET, like the movie, Fitness Coach. I am working on rebranding, so those things might change. So if you need to, just type my name in on Google, Eric, Eric Guilmette, Guilmette, and you'll be able to find me all over the place, and hopefully more places to come.
Your last name is super cool, by the way. I'm going to leave all
Thank
of
you.
that information in the description box. Thank you so much for your time, Eric, and thanks everyone for listening. Remember that you can listen to this podcast in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, TuneIn, Amazon Music. You can follow our Facebook page, Polemic Nation, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Polemic Nation. Thank you so much for your time, and until next time.